Software updates. I want to talk about this. This is something in particular because there's been lots of talk about software updates. Now, there's been some talk around Teslas and the promise of full self-drive, but there's also been talk about software updates on smartphones because we've reviewed a few smartphones recently and people are like, oh, wait for the software update to come and then review it, and it's just like, you absolute anyway, I'm gonna go to this tweet from Marquez, which I thought made perfect sense. He said, never ever buy a tech product based on the promise of future software updates. Okay, now let's touch on the Tesla side of things because that's where a lot of this conversation was coming on. Marquez as well as Snazzy Q Quinn will be making a video on the Tesla software and a full self-drive situation going forward. But I want to quote a tweet from Quinn, and he said, "Fun fact: Tesla started accepting money for a promised full self-driving package in October 2016. It's April 2021 and no such feature set has been delivered. At many points in the past, they've included promises on the website and MVPA. How they've never been sued is beyond me." Okay, so let's initially talk about this Tesla situation. Now, the way I see it personally, there's this promise of full self-drive, but like I didn't buy it. I didn't go for full self-drive because for me, I didn't think it was worth it, right? You are getting additional features right away. So you are getting things like, parking, and you're getting automatic lane change, which you don't get with the standard autopilot, and you're getting summon. So if you're in a car park and you want your car to come to you, you can also get that. So these are the things that are included. So yes, you're not getting the full self-drive with the dream, which I still think is quite a way away, but you're getting a few of these features. So I don't think it's necessarily that extreme, based on what Snazzy is saying, that it's just like, to be sued because you're saying future updates are going to be coming, but this is what you're currently getting, right? And the way I see it is, for me, that wasn't worth it to spend whatever £7,000 or whatever it was here in the UK. I think it's almost $10,000 in the US now.
Yes,
it wasn't worth it for me. Yeah, so I didn't buy it, right? But if there was somebody who potentially bought it with the hope of getting it on a 2-year lease, for example, something else Quinn was saying, then, you've paid for that for your 2-year lease and you've not got that full end product that you were hoping for.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's true. I mean, look, this goes all the way back, even though I'm going to focus on Tesla, but it goes all the way back to Google. Google is one of the very first companies to give us this. Now, if in terms of software updates or even just beta. Remember, Gmail was beta for almost 10 years, by the way. And companies have now carried that idea of we can do a continuous testing period or beta period while still charging. And, some companies are better than others where, like you said, with Tesla, in a sense, we will give you features that are tied into it. Now, to Tesla's defense, self-driving cars will be hard to actually even implement in the US fully, especially after some of the things that happened in the past with a few accidents and also with regulations. The other half of self-driving cars, for instance, also has to do with, kid you not, 5G and sensors on cars and roads. So a lot of people, I remember when this came up and I was like, this is great, but it would be great if we had sensors in traffic lights, in street lights around the road, because that will aid the sensors in the car and the other vehicle, which allow for self-driving to actually work, because then it knows there's something here. I'm talking to this one is telling me this. So people like me and you will go, I'm not taking it because I know it's not there or it's not going to be there for a while.
Exactly.
But the regular customer won't, because again, it comes down to marketing and, the presentation of this is what we're giving. But we're also used to, as a public right now, dealing with software updates. We're used to, you buy a product, not forget a product, you buy a game. And your game is literally 60% ready. Not 90% where you're like, oh, okay. By the time I get to the end of the game, it's 60% ready before you get it up there.
So this is, I think it goes back to this thing, right? That my advice would be what Marquez said, is that if you think something's worth it at the time in terms of what it's offering, then sure, go ahead and buy it. Anything that comes as an addition is a bonus. do not buy something with a hope that, oh, this is going to be fixed in the future, because it may not. It may be fixed, it may not be fixed. And I want to bring this back to like smartphones, because one of the things that I always get, which annoys me, and if you are one of the people who comments like this, then you are wrong 100%. It's just like, oh, wait for the software update and then compare it. Wait for the software update and then review it. Okay, so let me break this down. When manufacturers provide us with loan devices, whether that be smartphones or something else, if it is a beta, if it's running beta software, they will specifically tell us that, look, this is beta software, this is not public software, okay? And if that is the case, then I totally understand, and I will not review it based on a product that's a final product, because I know it's in beta, okay? However, as soon as the software version available is the version that consumers will be getting in their hands on the day of purchase, then I will review it, because that's what people are going to be experiencing when they get their device. Now, if you're a fanboy who has your head shoved up a brand's, area, then that's your own fault, because at the end of the day, software updates, yes, they may fix things, they may not. Sometimes we're waiting for months for software updates. We as tech reviewers have a responsibility to provide you with what we have at the time, right? Now, sure, it might be worth doing like a revisit, which is why a lot of the times I do like a 2-month later review. So, I'll give you a perfect example. The S21 Ultra, when I did lots of testing, the Exynos version did not have good battery life at the start. But then after a couple of software updates, it's actually improved quite a bit. Now, in my 2-month later review, I addressed that and I said, hey, look, now it's this. But if I was reviewing it, if I was doing a 2-week later review, my review wouldn't have been as good in terms of the battery life. Now, another element I also want to mention on that side of things is the fact that reviews actually bring those software updates. So I've had many situations where I've done a camera comparison and one camera maybe has not performed well in terms of stabilization, maybe in terms of autofocus. I've actually had that brand reach out to me personally and say, hey, can you share some of this footage with us so we can review it and improve it in the next software update? And guess what? A few weeks later, they've gone in and actually addressed those concerns that have been raised in that reviewer comparison, which would not have come to light and not have got so many people talking on Reddit and on comments, etc., had that review not been done. Okay? So I just want to bring it back that when it comes to software updates, we have to test it as it is at the time. Sure, if it improves, maybe somebody else will test it. Maybe we'll do a long-term test. But it's so important to be done at the time it's available to the consumer in that state.
Yeah, I mean, and just to add, remember this as well, is for a lot of reviewers, not just us, you're given a time frame with the device. So especially even if you're a smaller reviewer, you're given like 2 weeks with a smartphone. So if even if you wanted to wait, you had 2 weeks, which there might not be an update. The update might have come and still not do anything to the satisfaction that you like or you think it should be. Then it's just a waste of time. And what sometimes, just adding to some of the background and behind the scene things that happen. Look, there are times where, for instance, I myself don't usually put out a camera review immediately. But then if I know there's a camera update coming, I will wait. But then I wait. I'm going, well, I need to drop a video about this device pretty soon at some point, or else I'm just waiting 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows how long it is before an update hits. And again, it doesn't mean it will fix the things it wanted to fix. Prime example last year with the S20 Ultra. Everybody wanted a software update. I didn't, because the camera made me look really good. And when the update came, I started looking like I was, a white guy wearing black skin, because that's what it did. So again, you have to look at it. Saf is right. You have to look at it from the time it's available to go, because if we don't drop the information, the day of launch, or at least around that period when somebody's going to go buy the device, somebody's like, "Ooh, I can't wait to pick up the next Samsung or the next OnePlus. Let me check out some videos on it, because you can buy it right now. You can go click right now." We're doing a disservice. We're doing a huge disservice, because you're not helping that person judge properly to go, I'm not, and it doesn't mean we're dissuading them from buying it. It means that person might wait, and that, hey, it helps OnePlus improve the camera, and then they see another video from someone else saying, OnePlus 1 month camera review. I did the update, it worked. Look at the performance. You're like, oh, okay, now I can pick it up, or I get a better deal.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the S20 Ultra last year as well, and it had some focus hunting issues initially, right? And what they did is they released some updates, which did help, right? And it still didn't make it as good as some of the others, but it did definitely have a big impact. And not only that, but then the next device, the Note 20 Ultra, they put an infrared autofocus,
Sensor.
laser autofocus sensor, right? So it actually helped progress the devices, right? Because of everybody talking about these, these issues that were experienced, and these software updates only came after those experiences were shared online and got people talking about it. So yeah, again, I want to re-emphasize this: do not buy a product based on future software update promises. Okay, if the software update is something that's not important to you, but you like the rest of the device, fair enough. But don't buy it solely because, oh, I'm gonna buy this now and then, oh, they're gonna fix this later on. No, that's the wrong way to go about purchasing things. We just don't want you to waste your money, guys. That's all. I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to hear the full podcast episode, then that will be linked down below. And if you want to see more clips like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf Speaks, and I'll see you next time.